Hi guys. Grandma and Grandpa did a bunch of yard work today, so I'm kind of tired. I thought maybe we could just read a bedtime story for a few minutes. So let's snuggle down under the blankets, get all comfortable, and I will read a little bit of How to Train Your Dragon. About the Hero. How to Train Your Dragon is the first volume of Hiccup's memoirs. He is better known for his great work of natural history, Vikings and Their Eggs, which lists every dragon known to man. He has also published two other non-fiction titles, Learning to Speak Dragonese and Mermaids and Other Monsters, and is a regular writer for Big Dragon Monthly. There's a picture of Hiccup the Toothless. How to Train Your Dragon, The Heroic Misadventures of Hiccup the Viking. A note from the hero. There were dragons when I was a boy. There were great, grim sky dragons that nested on the top cliffs like gigantic, scary birds. Little brown, scuttly dragons that hunted down the mice and rats in well-organized packs. And preposterously huge sea dragons that were 20 times as big as the big blue whale and who killed for the fun of it. You will have to take my word for it, for the dragons are disappearing so fast they may soon become extinct. Nobody knows what is happening. They are crawling back into the sea from whence they came, leaving not a bone, not a fang in the earth for the men of the future to remember them by. So, in order that these amazing creatures should not be forgotten, I will tell you this true story from my childhood. I was not the sort of boy who could train a dragon with a mere lifting of an eyebrow. I was not a natural at the heroism business. I had to work at it. This is the story of becoming a hero the hard way. First, catch your dragon. Long ago, on the wild and windy Isle of Berk, a smallish Viking with a longish name stood up to his ankles in snow. Hiccup Horrendous Haddock the Third, the hope and heir to the tribe of the hairy hooligans, had been feeling slightly sick ever since he woke up that morning. 10 boys, including Hiccup, were hoping to become full members of the tribe by passing the dragon initiation program. They were standing on a bleak little beach at the bleakest spot on the whole bleak island. A heavy snow was falling. "Pay attention," screamed Gobber the Belch, the soldier in charge of teaching initiation. "This will be your first military operation, and Hiccup will be commanding the team." "Oh, not Hiccup," groaned Dog's Breath, the duh brain, and most of the other boys. "You can't put Hiccup in charge, sir. He's useless." Hiccup Horrendous Haddock the Third, the hope and heir to the tribe of the hairy hooligans, wiped his nose miserably on his sleeve. He sank a little deeper into the snow. "Anybody would be better than Hiccup," sneered Snot-Faced Snot-Lout. "Even Fish Legs would be better than Hiccup." Fish Legs had a squint that made him as blind as a jellyfish and an allergy to reptiles. "Silence!" roared Gobber the Belch. "The next boy to speak has limpets for lunch for the next 3 weeks." There was absolute silence immediately. Limpets are a bit like worms and a bit like snot and a lot less tasty than either. Hiccup will be in charge, and that is an order, screamed Gobber, who didn't do noises quieter than screaming. He was a 7-foot giant with a mad glint in his one working eye and a beard like exploding fireworks. Despite the freezing cold, he was wearing hairy shorts and a teeny weeny deerskin vest that showed off his lobster red skin and bulging muscles. He was holding a flaming torch in one gigantic fist. Hiccup will be leading you, although he is admittedly completely useless, because Hiccup is the son of the chief, and that's the way things go with us Vikings. Where do you think you are? The Republic of Rome? Anyway, that is the least of your problems today. You are here to prove yourself as a Viking hero, and it is an ancient tradition of the hooligan tribe that you should... Gobber paused dramatically. First, catch your dragon! Oh, suffering scallops, thought Hiccup. Our dragons are what set us apart, bellowed Gobber. Lesser humans train hawks to hunt for them, horses to carry them. It is only the Viking heroes who dare to tame the wildest, most dangerous creatures on earth. Gobber spat solemnly into the snow. There are 3 parts to the dragon initiation test. The first and most dangerous part is a test of your courage and skill at burglary. If you wish to enter the hairy hooligan tribe, you must first catch your dragon. And that is why, continued Gobbler at full volume, I have brought you to this scenic spot. Take a look at Wild Dragon Cliff itself. The 10 boys tipped their heads backward. The cliff loomed dizzyingly high above them, black and sinister. In summer, you could barely even see the cliff as dragons of all shapes and sizes swarmed over it, snapping and biting and sending up a cacophony of noise that could be heard all over Berk. But in winter, the dragons were hibernating and the cliff fell silent, except for the ominous, low rumble of their snores. Hiccup could feel the vibrations through his sandals. Now, said Gobber, do you notice those 4 caves about halfway up the cliff, grouped roughly in the shape of a skull? The boys nodded. Inside the cave, that would be the right eye of the skull, is the dragon nursery, where there are, at this very moment, 3,000 young dragons having their last few weeks of winter sleep. Oh, muttered the boys excitedly. Hiccup swallowed hard. He happened to know considerably more about dragons than anybody else there. Ever since he was a small boy, he'd been fascinated by the creatures. He'd spent hour after long hour dragon watching in secret. Dragon spotters were thought to be geeks and nerds, hence the need for secrecy. And what Hiccup had learned about dragons told him that walking into a cave with 3,000 dragons was an act of madness. No one else seemed too concerned, however. In a few minutes, I want you to take one of those baskets and start climbing the cliff, commanded Gobber the Belch. Once you are at the cave entrance, you are on your own. I am too large to squeeze my way into the tunnels that lead to the dragon nursery. You will enter the cave quietly, and that means you too, warthog, unless you want to become the first spring meal for the 3,000 hungry dragons. Ha 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 ha. Gobber laughed heartily at his little joke, then continued. Dragons this size are normally fairly harmless to man, but in these numbers, they will set on you like piranhas. There'd be nothing left of even a fatso like you, warthog, just a pile of bones. And your helmet. Ha ha ha! So, you will walk quietly through the cave, and each boy will steal one sleeping dragon. Lift the dragon gently from the rock and place it in your basket. Any questions so far? Nobody had any questions. In the unlikely event that you do wake the dragons, and you would have to be idiotically stupid to do so, run like thunder for the entrance to the cave. Dragons do not like cold weather, and the snow will probably stop them in their tracks. Probably? thought Hiccup. Well, that's reassuring. I suggest that you spend a little time choosing your dragon. It is important to get one the correct size. This will be the dragon that hunts fish for you and pulls down deer for you. You will catch the dragon that will carry you into battle later on, when you are much older and a warrior of the tribe. But nonetheless, you want an impressive animal. So a rough guide would be, choose the biggest creature that will fit into your basket. Don't linger for too long in there. Linger? thought Hiccup. In a cave full of 3,000 sleeping dragons? I need not tell you, Gobber continued cheerfully, that if you return to this spot without a dragon, it is hardly worth coming back at all. Anybody who fails this task will be put into immediate exile. The hairy hooligan tribe has no use for failures. Only the strong can belong. Unhappily, Hiccup looked around at the distant horizon. Nothing but snow and sea as far as the eye could see. Exile didn't look too promising either. Right, said Gobbler briskly. Each boy take a basket to put their dragon in, and we'll get going. And that's where we'll stop for tonight. Remember, guys, you are loved so very much. Now, snuggle up under the covers, sleep tight, and don't let the bed bugs bite.
Good night.
Grandpa Mark says good night too. See you next time.